Hello, it's World Book Day, and I've got an old friend to share with you. Do you remember Mrs Armitage? Well, I've found another book. This is called Mrs Armitage, Queen of the Road. I'll read the blurb. When the madcap Mrs Armitage is given a boring old car by her Uncle Cosmo, it soon becomes clear that her driving skills leave a lot to be desired. Will she ever become Queen of the Road? Can't wait to read this book. One morning, Mrs Armitage came downstairs and found a letter on her doormat. She read it to her faithful dog, Breakspear. It said, "Dear Anastasia, because I am buying a new motorcycle, I shall not need my old car any more. I would like you to have it as a present. It is in the street outside. Here are the keys. With love, from your Uncle Cosmo." There was the car. "It doesn't look very exciting, Breakspear," said Mrs Armitage, "but we'll give it a try." They climbed in the car, and off they went. They had not been going long when they went over a big hole in the road. Bing, bong, dang, boing, and all the hubcaps came off. Mrs Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Hubcaps?" she said. "Who needs them?" She took them off to the scrap heap, and off they went. But they were going round the corner by the vinegar works. Scrunch! The mudguard was ruined. Mrs Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Mudguards?" she said. "Who needs them?" She took them off to the scrap heap, and off they went. They were backing out of the scrapyard when scrang! The front bumper had caught on an old bedstead. Mrs Armitage got a look out at the damage. "Bumpers?" she said. "Who needs them?" She threw the bumpers out to the scrap heap and drove away. They were on the way past the supermarket when a lorry backed into the street. Scrunch! Right into her bonnet. Mrs Armitage got out to look at the damage. "The bonnet?" she said. "Who needs it?" She took it off to the scrap heap, and off they went. There was quite a traffic jam beside the new building site, where a big crane was moving heavy blocks of concrete. To and fro it went, to and fro, up and down, when suddenly... What do you think happened? Crunch! Mrs Armitage got out to look at the damage. "A roof?" she said. "Who needs it?" So she took it off the scrap heap, and off they went. "Breakspear," said Mrs Armitage, "I think it's time for us to get out of this town." They went down the side road into the country. All about them were trees, and birds were singing. "Breakspear," she said, "this is blissful." But the road got bumpier and bumpier. Badang, badong, badang, boing, clunk. All the doors fell off, and the boot as well. Mrs Armitage got out to look at the damage. "All this stuff, Breakspear," she said. "Who needs it? Let's throw it all on the scrap heap and be on our way." But at that moment there was a roar. It was Uncle Cosmo on his new bike. His friends were there too, Gizzy and Lulu, Fernandino and Smudge. They were out for a day's drive. They all gathered round to look at Mrs Armitage's machine. "Wow!" said Gizzy. "Wherever did you get it? It's fantastic." "We're off to the Crazy Duck Cafe for a game of billiards and a can of banana fizz," said Uncle Cosmo. "You must come too." "But first have this leather jacket," said Smudge. "I've grown too big for it to wear it." "And you must each have a collar," said Lulu. "I don't need all three." "And I have one of our bendy masks," said Gizzy. "We don't need them both." "And let me give you a motor horn," said Fernando. "I don't need all 5 of them, and it's always good to have a motor horn." Off they roared to the Crazy Duck Cafe, and out in front, with a faithful dog, Breakspear, was Mrs Armitage, Queen of the Road. And there they are at the cafe. We'll have to see what Mrs Armitage gets up to next time. There's another one. Mrs Armitage and the Big Wave.